Thank you. We will now turn to resolutions regarding previous action before the board. First, a resolution concerning application P-2025-24 concerning 421 High Street, Block 14, Lot 2. This was a resolution approving a bulk variance as to the setback requirements to construct a retaining wall. Do I hear, actually I should ask, is everyone eligible to vote on this resolution? Is there anyone who's not eligible to vote on the resolution? Okay. Of those eligible, do I hear a motion to approve resolution P-2025-24?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Seconded.
Madam Secretary, please.
All in favor?
Yeah, all in favor?
Sure.
Aye. Any opposed?
I'm abstaining, right?
Yes.
You can't vote if you
Mr. Dow abstained. And with that, the resolution passes. We now move to resolution P-2025-25 concerning Virtual Memorial Hospital, Burlington County, Inc. It's a rather extensive list of block and lots, so I won't read them all. But I assume that this is the same. Mr. Dow will also have to abstain. Great. So of those who are eligible, do I hear a motion approving application P-2025-25?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Seconded.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? I know Mr. Dow. Oh,
Yes.
you abstain? Mr. Adler abstains. Mr. Dow abstains. Seeing nothing else, the resolution passes, and we move to the minutes from our August 18th, 2025 meeting. Do I hear a motion of those eligible to approve the minutes from our last meeting?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Abstention, I know Mr. Dow. And are there any other?
August or was it September?
It says August.
Oh, this says August here.
So, I don't know.
Oh, so I don't, Gina, could you just clarify real quick? And do we need to approve September as well, or?
No, they don't finish that.
Okay, so I apologize. Let me, so August, so it sounds like Mr. Dow is eligible
Yeah.
to vote here. Okay, thank you. Sorry about the confusion on my end. Of those eligible, do we have a motion to approve these meeting minutes?
We already had a motion.
Oh, we had a motion?
I think I have to abstain, I was not here at the vote.
Okay.
That's okay, it's roll call, so abstain.
Okay, so, do we have he wasn't second, so do we have, okay, all those in favor, say aye. Aye. Do we have any opposed? Any other abstentions, recusals? Seeing none? Oh, okay. 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 Even so, the motion carries, meeting minutes are approved. We now turn to the application for 30 Church Street, Block 84, Lot 52. Is representative for the applicant.
For your reference, for board's reference, I did review the notice provided by the applicant, and it was timely and sufficient, it was carried, and a announcement was made, so the board does have jurisdiction for, Mr. Burns is present as counsel for the applicant.
Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Thank you, counsel. For the record,
Just make sure you speak into the microphone, just so we can capture your voice on the recording.
and does this move?
Yes.
So I can sit next to Audrey when the time comes? Very good, thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the record, James Burns from the law firm of Demo, Brown and Burns on behalf of the applicant 30 Church Street Development Group LLC. We're before you tonight for site plan confirmation and for really the reaffirmation of the use variance and bulk variances that were previously granted by the Land Use Planning Board under Resolution P-2016-10 and Resolution P-27-16. The property located at 30 Church Street. It's also designated as Block 84, Lot 52 on your tax maps. I know a lot of you weren't present probably back in 2016 to 2017, but this really is a rather straightforward application. As stated, the board granted a use variance approval under resolution P 2016-10 to permit more than one principal use on the same lot. We now have an overlay, a fair share housing overlay on the property, which kind of would help reconfirm that variance, because that would also create more than one principal use on the lot. As we sit here tonight, despite the testimony back in 2016 and 2017, as we sit here tonight, there are no confirmed tenants known for the property, but we will stipulate on the record that it can be a condition of approval that all proposed uses must be principal uses permitted in your MRV zoning district. So nothing that will go on site will not be a permitted use. And that could run the gamut of retail, it could run anything that's permitted under your zone is what would be something that we would look to put into the flex space that we're proposing. The applicant is also requesting reaffirmation of the following bulk variances previously granted by the land use land use board under resolution 2616-10. One, to permit the impervious coverage of 61.8%, where a maximum of 60% is permitted. Number two, to allow a maximum building height of 3 stories, where a maximum of 2.5 stories or 35 feet is permitted. And to allow, we're gonna stay with the 92 parking spaces, since we don't know what the total retail may be, but 92 parking spaces where 228 are required. Now, it's also important to note that if my client develops fair share housing, all those variances basically go away, because they're a higher standard to be met. So that's important for the board to know as well. As stated, these variances were previously granted by the land use board after they found that the applicant met the positive and negative criteria necessary for granting the use and the bulk variances. We're also asking for variances for what was approved under the other prior resolution. That was 82 parking spaces where the use required 196. So everything we're asking for tonight doesn't change on the site plan. In fact, we don't need to come ask you for new site plan approval. The reason we're here is because normally a bulk variance or a use variance would run with the land, but you have a very specific ordinance in your town. And that states that an applicant must begin construction within 1 year of the issuance of the approved variances, otherwise they're deemed to have expired. So while we have a viable site plan, our variances expired because we were not able to begin and pull permits to start construction. And it's we're now in a situation where we can't really develop the site plan that exists on site without these variances, because you can't do one without the other. I guess it's the simplest song. I think there was this old song to that effect, but you can't do one without the other. You need both, and that's why we're here. And hopefully that makes it a little easier on the board when you're hearing the testimony and considering the application. The plan is the same plan that was approved previously. We're simply looking to utilize this property similar to a strip mall or a flex space, and that was the way it was originally designed to be used. So that's why we needed the variance for more than one principal use of the property. I have with me tonight Audrey Winsinger on behalf of the applicant. She's here to answer any questions you may have. She has a wealth of knowledge on this property because she's been involved in it from the inception with her family. In fact, all this information she has in front, we're not going to go through it all. I couldn't even go through it all. It's a lot, but it's something that I think that the board, as we proceed tonight, and you hear the testimony and you hear why we're here, we hope that you recognize that, again, they were all part of the same site plan application. In fact, the use variance was granted first, which allowed the applicant to then proceed with the site plan, and the site plan was designed to accommodate that use. So if the board denies the use tonight, it's almost like an undue hardship, because we can't proceed with any development without the approvals. And with your permission, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to begin by having Ms. Winsinger sworn, and we'll take some testimony.
Before we do that, just very briefly, I would like to note for the record that Member Banks left the proceeding at 6:27 p.m.
Well, just, and I was gonna say, Mayor recused himself,
Yes.
he's not, he left the dais, he's not an eligible member. So
Oh,
we just-
understood, because it's a use variance.
It's a use variance, and Councilman.
I got excited when I saw
So I
7
wanted to
members.
make that clear, that did not participate or consider it anyway.
Very good.
So, and I'll swear in Ms. Windsor.
Thank you.
If it's more comfortable to sit there, that's fine.
That's great.
Just make sure that if you were to be speaking. So
Yeah.
do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth before the board?
I do.
Okay. Audrey, we'll share this.
Yeah.
If you could state your full name and address for the record.
Audrey Winsinger, 520 Main Street, Lumberton, New Jersey, 08048.
And are you a member of 30 Church Street Development Group LLC?
I am the vice president of Mill Racing, and Mill Racing is the sole member of that LLC.
Very good. I prepared you very well. Did you hear my introductory statement?
I did.
Was my statement true to the best of your knowledge?
It was.
And you were before this board back in 2016 and 27 and received preliminary and final site plan approval, use variance approval, and bulk variance approval, as I indicated in my introduction, correct?
Correct.
Fair to say that the application was approved as a flex space or a type of strip mall type of use?
Yes.
And you're seeking to simply reaffirm the previous use variance and bulk variance approvals granted with the application in order to allow you to move forward with the approved site plan, is that correct?
That is correct.
And in fact, you met with the construction official and advised him that you had basically 3 objectives that you wanted to try to meet. First, to obtain the demolition permit and demolish a section of the building that's currently compromised, correct?
Yes.
Meet with him and your project architect to begin the process of obtaining a construction permit.
Yes.
And ultimately, obtaining a temporary CO enable for you to use 1 unit of the existing 65,000 square foot building to begin selling items stored in the remainder of the building to free up space for construction, correct?
Temporary CO, yes.
So your intention now at this point is to move forward with the development, correct?
Correct.
And you were told specifically that in order for you to proceed, you needed to reaffirm the prior variance approvals with this board, correct?
Yes.
And that's why we're here.
Correct.
As we stand here today, are there any specific tenants that you can identify for the building?
No, not in name or category.
Very good. But your intention, and you will agree as a condition of approval, that any tenant to occupy the space or unit at the property must be a permitted principal use in the MRV zoning district, correct?
Correct. If ever there was one, they would have to come back here.
Right, if there was some issue where they weren't a principal use, it's incumbent upon them as the tenant to try to get relief, correct?
That is right.
But your intention is to make sure principal uses occupy the space.
That's my intention.
Now, there's also a fair share housing overlay that was recently placed on the property by the township, is that correct?
Yes.
And that would enable you to have more than 1 principal use on the lot, correct?
Yes.
Because you could build some commercial, but you also have fair share overlay, which would be residential, correct?
Yes, it would be a different building.
And that would support one of the reasons you're here tonight, why you're requesting the relief again, is to allow more than 1 principal use of the property, correct?
That's correct.
Will the reaffirmation of this application allow you to begin the process of starting construction with the property and also allow you to look forward to potential fair share housing on the property?
I hope so.
Very good. Why don't you tell the board a little bit about the history of the property since you know it so well?
Sure.
I'm gonna say too well, so well.
Sure, yeah. So it's a 65,000 square foot warehouse that we purchased. It is the donut hole in the middle of the donut. We happen to own the donut, so anyway, we felt like we ought to make sure that we could control and guide what's in the donut hole. So you have a 65,000 square foot warehouse. It is historic. Started out with the three-story building out front, really, we only considered historic, built in the 1800s, but as it turns out, National Trust has chosen to make all of it historic. So anyway, we would like to put an extension of Millrace Village in there regarding the commercial uses. And so the idea would be divide up that building into a variety of, as Jim says, flex space, so that we could have things in there that complement what we've already done. And then the idea would be to add residential at some point here, possibly with a partner, so that we could both make use of the affordable housing ordinance, which we've been granted, but also so it will complement the residential will complement the commercial, and the commercial will complement the residential.
And other than the fair share housing testimony you just gave, because that wasn't in place at the time,
It was not.
that's pretty much what you had indicated would be used, the site would be used for.
It's exactly. We thought that this was going to go forward a little faster than it did, but between having a decade between when we were last here and COVID and the economy changing a tidbit, there are some things that we originally thought would be in there that are probably not now appropriate, but some things that we didn't think were appropriate that might be appropriate now. So there might be some recreational stuff that now is maybe more in demand. So anyway, we'll see where it ends up.
But at the time in 2016, 2017, there was discussion of retail space, correct? And there was a theater group that possibly wanted to utilize the property.
There was, but Millrace Village ordinance was the absolute controlling discussion that we were going to not deviate from that, and it's still exactly the same plan.
And you heard what I indicated. The use variance goes hand in hand with the site plan, correct?
Yes?
So you really can't do one without the other.
No?
And same with the bulk variances. It was designed to be all-inclusive, and at the time, you provided testimony, and I believe you had testimony how what the benefits of the property would be, the benefits of the community, how the benefits would really outweigh any detriments, because you were looking at this as a kind of a holistic approach. You were providing, a viable taxable entity to the town. It was something that was encouraged, and I believe it's something that's still encouraged. And in fact, you've gotten questions from quite a number of people wondering what the heck is going on and why haven't you started, correct?
That's correct.
Now, tell the board a little bit of history of why the delay? What happened that placed you in a position where you couldn't pull the permits within that year, thereby, ceasing your right to your variance?
Sure. So when I was here before, as Jim points out, we received for the application, we received both site plan approval and the variances. And then I was given I'll call it a rather large, long list of conditions. And they were all fine, and I was able to answer all of them, but a lot of them had very long tails to them. Here's for instance, that we put in monitoring wells. That meant I had to get from DEP approvals. I had to find a contractor. We put them in. We had to go ahead and make sure that they all purged correctly, and then we had to do a year's worth of monitoring. So just that, not the other, I forget what it was. It was like 80 or 90 conditions, but that's one that made it so that I couldn't come back within the year. And then, of course, we had COVID in there, and anyway, we've had some stumbling blocks. But in January of 2024, we got to the stage where we created the same plan. It was the same original plan, but we reacted to all of the planning board's professionals' comments that were in the comment letters. So in January of 24, we submitted a plan that's the same plan. It just reacted to all of their comments and made any corrections. And then also there were documents, I don't know, 85 pages worth of documents that reacted to all the other all of the other conditions. So all of that took a little time.
But you did take steps, though, at substantial cost to work to perfect some of those conditions, including you consolidated the lots as you're required to do. You had a right-of-way easement because it turns out that one of the lots, 56, that you were thinking of having to consolidate was actually owned by a different entity, so you couldn't consolidate those. But your attorney prepared a right-of-way easement to allow access to the property. There was a shed, with
An easement, yeah.
easement.
Yep,
So
yep.
you did take steps to perfect that, but you were not in a position, none of those steps enabled you to really pull a permit, correct?
It's true. Well, yes, I did begin this process with an attorney, Dennis Germano, who's retired. And then when Dennis retired, I got Pat McAndrew, and then Pat had health issues, had a stroke, and you look pretty good now. So,
I'm not worried, I
so
gotta tell you.
I'm hoping you hang around. And then also, my LSRP, had a stroke and ended up, getting Alzheimer's. So, as it turned out, we ended up getting a brand new LSRP, maybe 2 years ago, I guess. Anyway, so Karen, found that there were some issues with the old LSRP's work, understandable, he was sick when he was doing it. And anyway, so she's begun again, and we have all that, but even to this day, we are still doing soil averaging of the historic fill so that we've found that we are below the non-residential standard, but above the residential standard. So we are trying to do more soil sampling, in fact, next week. So the beat goes on, but yes, we've taken a lot of steps and still are.
And I think I misspoke before, the variance that you got in under resolution 2017-16, that variance was to permit 82 parking spaces on site where 196 were required, correct?
Yes.
And then that dealt with abutting 10-foot wide buffer required for anything abutting a residential, correct?
Yeah.
So I apologize, I misspoke.
That's okay, that's okay. Although I do think that buffer was changed as well, but maybe not. Anyway, yeah.
And so based on your testimony, you're going through the work now. You've hired the LSRP, you're doing your environmentals, you're doing everything you need to do to get this back on track. But again, none of this could have been done to allow you to retain the use variance or the bulk variances, correct? It took more than a year, and you were not in a position because of all of this to pull your permit, or start construction of
It's
permit.
still taking time,
So
no.
understand that tonight, we're hoping the board approves the application. That use variance, if approved for the bulk variances, you've got 1 year, you know that,
Yeah.
correct?
Well, yeah, the only thing we're down to now is the environmental, and we're heading to the end of that.
But you're here tonight and you filed it when we did because you felt comfortable
Yes,
that with the reaffirmation of these variances, you would be in a position to start construction within a year of the approval.
that's correct. Yeah, for sure.
I just don't want the board to think, oh, we're gonna see you again in another,
I really don't ever want to come back.
Just don't. So everything is on track, correct?
That's
And-
right.
And we've received the professional review letters, correct?
Yes.
From ERI and from
Alimo, yep.
Alimo.
Mhm.
And you're in a position to address the open issues. I know you've been waiting to address the open issues that were cited in the Alimo letter and ERI's, ERI's letter. We really didn't have
I didn't see much.
take much exception to anything that
No.
was being asked for in that,
Nope,
correct?
that's correct.
So that, Mr. Chairman, is all the testimony I have at this time.
Do you wanna go through which one of Mr. Alimo's, because he agreed to deal with the LSRP, I mean, you've already engaged one, do you wanna go through a few of them?
Why don't we do that now? We can easily go through that. if
Sure.
I
you're-
mean, she can't go through the.
No, she can say
engineer's-
what she agrees to do, understood, understood, I know.
I called Mr. Nicholson today, but he informed me he wasn't showing up.
Yeah, we thought that would be best.
That's so.
If you spoke to him, you understand.
I don't know what's supposed to be.
Yeah, but we're happy to go through the open issues because it's something that you can address. So we're starting on, because most of it is history of the site, starting on page 6. well, I can read it out loud for you. The legal description for the driveway access easement on the corrected deed that was provided stops at course 3. The entire outbound of the easement needs to be included in the filed deed. So we will look at that, correct, and if we need to, we'll try to correct the deed, correct?
Yes, I have it here with me tonight, I can give it to you, but that's fine, yes, absolutely, all good.
The next comment, B, the deed of consolidation was followed. Provided, we're happy to do that.
I'm sorry, you're on page 6?
Page 6, yeah.
Bottom of page 6.
Of the alignment?
All right, so you already said okay to the LSRP in the comments.
They skipped over one.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's
Well,
the LSRP.
hang on.
I'm sorry, did we miss one? I
About the
apologize.
Deed notice.
Do you wanna go to where? Where would you like to, you'd like to start at, page 4?
I'm sorry, I thought I was looking at the open comments.
That's okay, that's okay. So, maybe I could just say on the environmental, can I just make a couple comments? One is that in April of 2025, EnviroTrack, which is our current LSRP, did a PA and an SI. I will send that to you, Mr. Limo. And then October of 2025, we're getting ready to do additional sampling, followed by, of course, we'll submit the RI and the RA and apply for a soil remediation wrap. So we already have a deed restriction filed with the county, but it's going to have to be updated now. The new LSRP is gonna wanna update it because it was done with.
So the report that you submitted,
Well,
which I'm looking to see who that was prepared by.
should have been from Potomac Hudson. You referred to some company named React in your report, but
So
I don't know who that.
That was back from
I- yeah, I don't know who
2016,
they are, but-
2017. That was in the, our letters from back on the approval back at that time.
Okay,
So
I don't
Potomac.
I don't know who they are, but that's okay. I never hired React, but, I don't know who, I know you referenced them, but Potomac Hudson, I did, and that's the fellow who, apparently was having issues while he was writing everything. So I am happy to send you, I think if you read the PA and the SI, I have a paper copy of it here, but I can send it to you electronically with all the indices. And I think that would solve a lot of the comments.
Okay, I mean, I obviously haven't reviewed that yet.
No, understood.
So, you know, I mean, you're indicating to me that you're proceeding with, certain, remediation actions. I mean, typically, you know, as I state, in our letter, we wanna see copies of all that stuff. So.
Well, the
So I wanna
remedi-
see the deed notice, I
Uh-huh.
wanna see, you know, the remedial action work plan.
Mhm.
And any other documents that, prepared by your LSRP, copies should be submitted. for-
Happy to provide.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
obviously, ultimately, you're gonna get an ROA.
Yeah.
RAO.
Yep, a restricted use RAO. Yeah, you're correct, that's
So
right.
That will all be provided to our office as a condition of this approval.
Yes.
So, yeah, so, now, going back into, my letter, so you went through 1 and 2, which were the variances that you were requesting to be reaffirmed. There is a